Picture up. Well, good afternoon or good evening if you're in the USA, and if you're in the Pacific Rim, it's Super Saturday morning. And as you can see, we have a little change up on the guests tonight. We have Miss Panache, and she is such a wonderful, meaningful connection. So I am Bruce, aka Mr. Simpler, Faster, Better, or other people know me by the guy in the blue shirt. So, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Panache, why don't you reveal who you might be over there? Yay!
It's the hey, Bruce. I'm no young lady. A couple of old guys here now, so not everybody's disappointed. So I thought we'd at least give them a teaser of maybe possibly seeing a young lady on here, but they're not. They're just going to have us.
Yeah, my young lady leader had something come up. So thank you for jumping in. And it's funny because we were owing each other time on Zoom anyway. So I asked you earlier, said, hey, why don't we just do it live? And you said, yeah, let's go for it. So thank you, Thane. I appreciate your changing your plans up last minute to support me. But it's a great example of, somebody asked me, how do you describe a meaningful connection, right? And so I'll throw that over to you, Thane. How would you describe a meaningful connection? Then I'll come back. Hi, Michelle Gunn. Hey, we got a joint supporter on here.
Awesome. I love Michelle. So yeah, thank you for joining, Michelle. So my idea of a true connection, of what a connection is a friend. Someone who I can reach out to when I need something, or someone who reaches out to me when they know I need something. Someone who I'm not even asking for something, and they're like, "Hey, can I help you?" And to me, that is what those meaningful connections are to me. People who I know I can rely on. And yeah, I've got probably 13,000 connections right now, but there's probably less than 100 of them that are really true, deep, meaningful connections that I can't wait to have a cup of coffee with, or I've had a cup of coffee with, whichever it is. So that's my idea. How about you, Bruce? What is one of your ideas of that?
Well, actually, my numbers are a little lower. I'm just under the 8,000 actual connections. And I found that particularly with all the things that I do, because as you know, I have a diversity in roles, 18 to 24 is kind of my magic number, Thane. And obviously you're one of those, along with some of the people that we did early collaborative work with. And a great example of that is I was traveling up on the Pacific Northwest coast this week, and I happened to reach out to Jill Valdez. And not only did Jill Valdez meet me for lunch in person, so that was awesome. So another great example. But Jill Valdez actually helped me out with finding a car rental crunch. I was in a crunch I could not find a car rental anywhere. So she figured out that there was a car rental office 15 minutes from the airport, and she even took me there after lunch. So I didn't even need to Uber over there. She went out of her way, took time out of her hectic, busy schedule, and she personally drove me over there, made sure I was okay. And then I was on my way down to Southern Oregon, McLeanville. So what a great example, people that we met through online, through our collaborative organization that we set up a bunch of time ago, but now they turn into in-person friends and connectors and resources that you just rely on all the time, and it's an amazing feeling. So
truthfully, it is. And it's, to me, that's part of leadership, is serving and helping others. And it's like I reached out to my wife. I told her what was going on, and that she was going to have to make supper. And when she came in, and she said, "Oh, please, by all means, go help your friend," because that's how we are. And last night there was a situation where she had to do something similar, and I was like, "Oh no, please go do what you need to go do." And that's one of the things that's helped our relationship and our marriage be so strong for so many years. Is there's no envy, there's no there's jealousy, there's no, why are you doing this without me? It's supporting and knowing that we're both trying to help other people, and that's what we're both, trying to do. That's show that leadership, build that leadership, give back to people. So when you reached out to me, it was a no-brainer. It's like, oh yeah, I would definitely be there for Bruce.
Yeah, awesome. And hey, Kenneth Dunner, I know you know Kenny. So Kenny, savor the flavor, Mr. Savor the Flavor. He put some great comments up here about sharing your delectable nuggets of wisdom and actually understanding that sincerity, just being there and being honest. And again, meaningful connections means to me also that we're not always going to get along all the time, and we may not always be messaging every day. And then the other definition, actually, it was Tisha Maria Pelletier that gave it to me. She said to me, Bruce, my definition of meaningful connections, if they text me and they need something, I'm going to try and help them back to that serving mentality, that service mentality within 24 hours or less, as long as it's within her realm of what she is able to do, and as long as it doesn't conflict with her core values, that's her definition of a meaningful connection. And she demonstrates that because she's been helping me out on some stuff. I have a gig coming up in the future, and she just helped me with some guideline stuff on that. And yeah, she was there. I text her and she's always back with me within 24 hours. She's true to her service support definition, on that meaningful connection thing. So,
well, it's very vital to me that as coaches, we walk the walk of what and talk the talk, because our behavior is where people really learn from us, not from the things we say. And I can stand there and say all day, you need to help other people when they're needed. You need to serve other people when they need it. But if I'm not doing that as well, then it's a lot more difficult for me to say it from the heart, because it's not coming from the heart. It's coming from a formula. So to me, that's what we, as the Leaders Building Leaders platform that I've created, that's what we're trying to do, is always helping other people. When we help other people, we don't only build other leaders, we build ourselves as leaders as well. That's how we make ourselves better as leaders, is by helping other people grow as well.
Right. Well, my old adage that, if you can't be the product of your own process, then shame on you, number one, right?
Right.
And number two, people are going to see through that like cellophane, right? They're going to see through it super quick. And the other thing is, it just talks to, what you're made of, right? If you're made of the right stuff, you're going to do the right stuff. If you're not sure what you're made of, then, you probably shouldn't be in the people helping people business right now. You probably should be in the people helping yourself business. And then when you're ready, go help other people, right?
Right. And that's one of the great things about things starting to open back up, is being able to get more back involved in the community and building the community. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully we can contain this where we don't revert again, but who knows what's going to happen. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting able to travel and work with clients again. That's been great. So getting on a plane to go to DC again next week.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, I was on a plane up to Seattle, and then in a car down to Portland, and then on a plane from Portland back to Burbank this week. So yeah, it is good. Los Angeles County, if people don't know, they are kind of reacting pretty quickly. So we're back to a mask mandate, and I'm sure there's going to be other stuff because, again, for people that aren't as aware, there's actually 16 million people in Los Angeles County. It's the largest county on the planet. So, so we have to react pretty quickly to take care of everybody. On the flip side of that, we have a pretty high vaccination rate here. So that's pretty good. So I'm, not so sure about in some of the more rural areas. There's been somewhat of a resistance to get vaccinated, which is people's individual choice, but probably not the best thing to do if you're trying to be a leader in today's world, right?
Well, I think that where we're having a lot of the problems is where the vaccines aren't being taken. So I mean, it's simple. It's common sense, which is an oxymoron. But anyway,
common sense ain't very common, right?
Right? No, not really. So I wanted to share some of the stuff I've been doing recently, Bruce, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. I want to use catch-up time because we said we were going to Zoom. So we said, hey, let's do our catch-up time live and see what people think, right?
Right. So I got to recently, just this week, I got to speak in front of the third largest Rotary Club in Madras, India, and did a presentation, an inspiration on inspiration and living your greatest dream. It was pretty incredible to get to do that. They were all doctors and professors. I was the dumbest person in the room, so that was pretty exciting for me. I've
Was
been
that
helping.
In person or online?
It was on Zoom. It was via Zoom. So
Awesome.
I did not travel to India. I stayed. I stood about right where I am right now. I was dressed a little bit differently, but I stood about right where I am right now. But
awesome.
that was pretty cool. And I've recently helping some of my clients do things like rewrite their policy and procedure manuals, getting some of those things up for them. But I'm also getting ready to do a presentation at 𝐬𝒗𝒂, the Leaders Building Leaders growth shop at 𝐬𝒗𝒂 in Philadelphia, and that's the Snow Ice Management Association, and going to do a presentation there in Philadelphia on the 2nd of September. So got a lot of things going on right now besides just my day-to-day stuff, and pretty excited about it.
Yeah, so 𝐬𝒗𝒂, I know you have a big tenure and a lot of depth and width of knowledge with all those contractors. So you are the perfect guy for that audience for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, so if you're watching this either live or as a replay, if you know people that are in the contracting business, particularly the also you have a big depth and width in the lawn care and lawn services business from before, right, Thane?
Right. The green industry and the snow and ice industry is where a lot of my background originally came from.
Right. So if you want somebody to like pep up your squad going into fall and winter, particularly if it's the winter management season, chances are with all the diversity and weather we've been having with extreme heat and a lot of rain, it's probably going to be very cold this winter would be my guess, and a lot of snow and a lot of ice. So yeah, if you know people that are struggling with their teams in the snow management arena, Thane is your person for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're also doing a thing on the radio show now called Lawn Letters. It's it's love letters of the green industry, but it's really not love letters. And we ask people to send in letters to us so that we can answer questions on the air. And that's been a real big hit on the radio show. I do the Turfs Up radio show. It's the Wise Guys every Wednesday at 3:00 Eastern on Wednesday. So we do that. And the lawn letters have been a really big hit where we get people from around the country to send in questions about their business, about the lawn care industry, the snow and ice management industry. And we talk about some of the things that we would do in their place and give them ideas. So that's been a lot of fun. Cool. A big hit on the show.
So after the live, because I don't have 2 sessions open, after the live, perhaps go back in there and drop in the link to because I think you opened that up, right, to the Wise Guys conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Thane, drop a link in there. And if you feel you're a wise guy or want to learn from a bunch of other wise guys, then Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern is your day and time, right?
Right, and you can download the app for free in the App Store. The Turfs Up Radio app, you can download it and you can listen to it on your phone all the time if you want. They play music and they have great tips for the turf industry, green industry, and snow industry as well.
Right, sure. So I know when I contacted you earlier, you were out in the woods. So the other thing that I know you and I collaborated on early on in our relationship was the whole concept of hashtag wisdom from the woods, right? And that was a popular series as well. So any new developments on wisdom from the woods thing?
I still, anytime I do anything, post anything out in the woods, I still tag that with it. Anytime I use any kind of, because I still do a lot of relating business to plant life, business to the wilderness. I still do a lot. So anytime I do that, I still do that. But I don't do a whole lot of videos because I don't get a whole lot of people watching the videos. So I quit doing so many videos and use more pictures. And actually learning from Monty Clark here on LinkedIn, he taught me that instead of using pictures, convert them to a PDF, and you get more views than if it's an actual picture. So all my pictures I convert to PDFs now, and instead of 1,100 views, I'll get 11,000 views. So
Yeah.
it's learning those little tips really helps to get yourself out there and for more people to see it. So that's why I kind of quit doing the videos. I do need to do more videos and put them on YouTube. But again, it's a matter of time and what what everything you're trying to do. So
hey, you got a wish from the customer here. Michelle Gunn is saying, I love the wisdom from the woods. Come on, thing. but yeah, I agree. The PDF. So I'm lucky, as you know, Gracie Ruth Melendez partners with me, and she turns all of my old, particularly some of my old posts that I really struggled with in terms of narrating and putting them together. She turns them into those PDF slider decks, and it's amazing the quality and the ease of being able to scroll through them and learn from them. So yeah, it's a really interesting delivery of a lot of information in a short period of time across, a short slider deck in PDF for sure.
Right. Okay, Michelle, you got a Wisdom from the Woods video coming up in the next day or so, maybe even tonight. I've got one.
Wow.
Got one on my phone. I haven't put out there, so maybe I'll do it tonight. Who knows? But it's to me, that's where I learned so much is out in the woods, and so to me it was just a natural thing. And then you came up with the hashtag, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is full of it. I'm not going to come up with a hashtag. People are going to think I'm full of myself. But I did. I got a lot of, especially when everyone was locked down during COVID and couldn't get out. People really loved it. People from all over the world would tell me, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten out of my apartment in forever. This makes my day. I watch these every day. So I was doing them religiously for a while. They were out there all the time.
Right. So can I give you a few little updates? Because we were going to do this on Zoom, but we decided.
Yeah.
So my biggest update, as you know, I'm passionate about IndyCar racing. So I have a TikTok channel, and on that TikTok channel, and also from my lives, I do a little segment called #FastTips. So from the Fast Tips thing, I try and do that on a Monday, and Gracie Ruth helps me out. So at the end, we'll do a fast tip so that we get one we can repurpose thing. But during my recent lives, talk about great collaboration, I interviewed Halia Volio, who had an I Am journal. She's all about, her hashtag is Sassy AF, and she's all about affirmations and journaling. And anyway, cut a long story short, her journal had a pink cover. So after the live, I said to her, hey, how many guys do you think would buy a pink covered journal? And she said, So I said, why don't you make one in blue? And I thought, she was just being nice. Well, about 10 days later, she sent me her I Am journal, her affirmations journal, repurposed with a blue cover, which is a lot more guy friendly. Anyway, fast forward 4 weeks after that, I got intrigued with journaling, and I was telling her about fast tips. She introduced me to a lady called Caitlin Lish, and now we have a Fix-It journal, which is very guy-centric, and it's all very racing car looking, look, with the colors and everything. So this is a annual journal with 26 fast tips in it to make your processes better. And on the bottom of each weekly page is actually a simple pleasure. So something that you should reward yourself with, because we're often really good at working away at results and getting accomplishments, but sometimes we don't reward ourselves, or people don't have the resources to reward themselves because they're investing in their business. So the journal has 52 simple pleasures on it. So pick a number, Thane. We'll do a thumb through the journal, see what we come up between 1 and 26.
Okay, 13.
Oh, 13.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So the
just so you know, real quick, Bruce, just so you know, I would buy a pink journal. I'd have no problem buying a pink journal.
I know, but you're different. You're you and I both know you're a little different. You don't have. All right. So
a little.
A lot. All right. So fast tip number 13 is PDCA your goals, which means plan, do, check, and adjust. And make sure you do that. your goals to reach success. So if people don't know what PDCA is, both Thane and I use that. It's a very powerful tool. So it's amazing you picked a common tool that we both know. And if people want to learn more about PDCA, I am more than happy to show them how you can take any process, any part of their process, and PDCA it for ultimate success. So that's you got the PDCA fast tip. And let me see what the simple pleasure would be. Oh, you're going to love this one. On the first part of the week for fast tip number 13, or the first week, because there's only 26 in the year. Sing out loud, Thane.
Sing out loud, sing out proud. Yeah, the Carpenters, man. That's a great song.
Right.
So
hang on, and then the second week for the tip number, because they get 2 weeks to do the fast tip.
Okay.
Kiss someone you love. Look at that. So amazing.
I'm kissing myself. I love myself. Kissing myself.
You can kiss the wife for giving you time with me instead of cooking dinner for the family. So how about that? So
I kiss her regardless. So
yeah, just to show you that it's really real. So the simple pleasures on the bottom.
Yep.
And you got the fat. How about that?
That's awesome.
And if people want to get hold of the Fix It journal, it is a guy-centric journal. It's available on Kindle publishing, and I'll put the link in the end of the comments, I think. Why not, right?
Cool. Yeah. So so that seems like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I remember one of our discussions a long time ago, and you were saying, Bruce, you really need to channel that passion you have for IndyCar somehow, because I think you said something along the lines, when you start talking about IndyCar, it's like you light up. It's like you come alive. So so every time I show anyone my fast tip journal, I do come alive, because I can hear the cars, I can smell the cars. I mean, it just brings back all of that instant replay when I was at Texas Motor Speedway most recently. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So also a great example, I use simpler, faster, better, the whole technique. We went from idea conception to getting the journal out in 3.5 weeks.
Nice.
How about that? Yeah.
That's nice.
We got rid of all the complexity. I used the right resources, and I kept saying, how do we make it simple? How do we make it fast? And how do we make it a good product, right? And that's where we ended up. And Caitlin Lish, bless her heart, she helped me through all that, and it would have taken me months on my own, right? And I would have struggled and stumbled. She figured out how to work all the design issues. She worked with Hallie. She worked with me on some of the little idiosyncrasies I have. And then we went to Kindle publishing, and we went through the Kindle publishing process, and voila.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool journal. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Yeah. Hey, if you want to buy it, it's a great man gift. Sorry. Big plug.
Well, I live in a house where we don't really divide between men and women.
I know.
We commingle among everything. So it's just part of how the culture is in the house. So
right.
I have to be very guarded.
But hey, I come from an all sisterhood family, and I know that my sisters and my mom and grandma, they always used to struggle. Well, what do I buy for sometimes buying gifts for a boy or getting something unique for a boy is a struggle for some people, because, guys are different, right?
Yeah. My guys and women are definitely different. There's no doubt about it. And aren't we excited about the differences? I mean, don't the differences excite us? Yes, they do. Yeah. So, but anyway, I just it's one of those things that when someone says, "Oh, is that a toy for a boy or a girl?" I'm just always like, it's for the child,
right?
It's like whoever wants to play with it. I try, but that's just me. So that's the house I live in. So
Michelle Gunn's asking again, good questions. How was the Kindle publishing process? It was awesome, Michelle, when you get people that have used it before and understand there's a little couple of quirkies in there, but once we figured that out, and again, if you want help on that, I can refer you to, I'm more than happy to refer you to Caitlin. In fact, I have a follow-up call with Caitlin next week. So if you want me to do that, I'll introduce you. She was amazing. She she took everything that was basically a box full of ideas and a lot of documents from me, and with Hallie and hers help, they made the journal. I mean, it was amazing. I was so thrilled. We did very little final editing, so that was the other thing. It was like soup to nuts in some pretty good process steps. They have a pretty good process step for the Kindle Direct Publishing, for sure. Did you get connected, Thane?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I know you had a microphone plug in earlier.
Yeah, so. No. I was listening to you guys. I don't see any questions, so I don't.
Okay. You can. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should tell you, on the vertical menu, there's a comments button you can click on and see what people are saying.
I didn't see anything.
That's all right. No problem.
All right. Now.
All right, Michelle. Michelle saying thanks. Yeah, reach out, Michelle, if you need any extra stuff. It was awesome to collaborate, and it was very cost effective as well. So that's the main thing. If you can do a great job quickly and make it cost effective, awesome, right? Best of all worlds.
No doubt about that. No doubt about it. So what inspired you to get that out? You know, I mean, if you've had that going around for you, what inspired you now to do it?
So after the live interview with Hallie of Olio, and we were talking about the power of writing down your accomplishments and then further journaling and doing affirmations, I started to, Hallie said, well, just Google what's out there. Well, when I started Googling what's out there are a lot of feminine type designs, very, very little kind of more male-centric designs. So I thought, you know what? I think there might be a gap. So, and I'd had all these fast tips running around in my head. And as you know, I've been doing process improvement for 40 plus years. So there aren't too many things that I've not seen before that can be tackled and come up with a great solution. And then just by happenstance, I was cleaning up some computer records, and I found my list of 52 simple pleasures, because when I was both broke and broken, I didn't have any money to reward myself for things. So I came up with very simple things that didn't cost any money to go reward myself with, to keep going. So
that's awesome. So I have a question for our audience. Anybody watching, what's holding you back from the inspiration you need to write your book, get your book published? Michelle Gunn and everybody else out there, what's holding you all back? What's holding me back? Right now, I just need to get mine out there and get it published. But yeah, we all need to do it.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm sure Kenneth Dunner has a truckload of experience, and I know Michelle Gunn does, at least based on all of her posts and engagement. And again, it doesn't have to be, to me, I think people have a stigma about a book. They think, oh my goodness, it's going to be this long, arduous, soul-searching process, and it doesn't need to be. I mean, everything that you're really passionate about is inside your head and body. And if you can just download it like defragging a computer, then that's where all the content comes from.
Well, it's the greatest line I've heard about writing a book, because people are like, oh, it takes so long. It's like, but it takes one word at a time.
Right.
You write each book one word at a time, and you sit down. You can't write a page at a time. I mean, you can, but you don't just, it's still one word at a time. You just have to write it. You just have to do it. I mean, I have at least the first half of my book. I just need to finish the second half to make it complete. But it's definitely something we all should write our own book. Even if you get it published and you never try to put it out there, at least you've written your book. You know, you've told your story. So it's very, very important.
Well, somebody on a live asked me, Bruce, so, you know, what do you want people to remember you for? And it's, I said, it's about, you know, leaving and leading a legacy. I mean, shame on me if I didn't defrag my head with 46 years of process improvement experience and figure out how to pass that along to up and coming leaders that might benefit from that knowledge, right? I mean, it sounds egotistical in a way, but it's also not being selfish in a way. I'd be selfish to pass on to wherever I go to with all that knowledge in my head if I don't pass it along to somebody else or others, more than one, right?
No, that's the whole idea behind leaders building leaders, is we should pass on everything we have to those who are around us so that we can create a better world. And that's what it's all that's what it's all about. And yeah, the legacy thing, it's like, yes, you definitely want to be able to do that, but to me it's more just how many lives can I touch that will touch other lives. That's what's important to me. Sure. And if people understand that whatever I have is something that came through me, not from me. It has worked through me, and it can hopefully not just work to them. It can work through them, and hopefully we don't just all become reservoirs where we hold all that in. Hopefully, we all become rivers where we let it flow, and we let it. Like I said, let's flow like the water. Hopefully, we all do that with everything we have, because that is where that mindset of abundance comes from. When we try to keep it to ourselves, that's that mindset of scarcity. And that doesn't really help us produce much. But when we share everything we have, that's why anytime I have something and somebody needs some help, I want to give it to them. I want to help them with it as much as I can, because that's going to flow back through to me again.
Yeah. I used to work in a pretty sophisticated assembly business. And when I used to do that, I used to have to explain it to the young engineers that, imagine I'm a conduit, like, you feed all these wires down through a conduit and they go somewhere and they connect pieces of the process together and they electrify different pieces of the process, right? So I used to tell them, if I can electrify one person in my conduit, one cable at a time, then I've done my duty as a leader, right?
Right.
Because people forget that, it's not a job title when you're given the accountability to be a leader by somebody else. You have a duty to lead as best as you can, come what may, right?
Right. Well, you've given up the ability to have a bad day. When you're really leading other people, you're not really allowed to have a bad day. You can have a bad day, but you can't share your bad day with everyone else, because you sharing your bad day with everyone else makes everyone else have a bad day. Right. So, and that's where that modeled behavior comes in. You come in throwing stuff around, mad, not wanting to talk to anybody. That bounces right back to everyone else. And the next thing you know, it's going through the whole organization. Yeah. You as the leader have to be the one coming in. Hey, Sue, glad to see you here today. Thank you for being here. We're going to get so much more done because you're here today. Hey, Bruce, man, so glad you're here. We're going to get that project done today, right? Thanks. I can't wait to see you at 11 like we have scheduled. That's what you have to be as the leader. And if you're not that as the leader, if you're the other guy affecting everyone negatively, then that's going to have the adverse effect of what you want as a leader.
Yep. I have a wonderful connection down in Glendale. Her name's Joy Osaka Liu, and she calls it the ripple effect, right? One, drop that little pebble in the pond and let the ripples go forward. And if you do it right, you never know where the ripple effect will end up. And you don't actually know how you can influence or touch somebody. And sometimes it's unseen to you. Some of your behavior is totally unseen by others until they model it, right?
No doubt. Well, we have a few groups we do. I do Leaders Building Leaders Grow Shop on Tuesday. I do a few of them on Tuesday. Then I also do a Thursday night book club and a Thursday night mastermind group. And it's like I'm talking to people that we've brought the group together, and talking to people like, oh, I was talking to so and so, and so they've created relationships outside of those groups. They've created relationships independent of me, which is what I want. And I'm introducing people who can help each other in business and in life. And hopefully these are people that can keep those relationships going, whether I'm part of it or not. And to me, that's again part of what the circle of influence is about, and that building that circle of trust and building that network that we have, where if people need help, we have each other. I was, two people were talking to me, and it's like, oh yeah, I had a session with this person and they really helped me out a lot. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know anything about it. And it made me feel so good that those two people had energized together. As you said, those conduits, we all brought together at this spot, but then they shot off together and did this, you know. So to me, that's part of that leaders building leaders is they're going and they're helping each other, and who are they going to help from there, because those two people helped each other, you know. That's just it's wonderful to me. And it's not an isolated incident. It's happened many occasions in different situations where different people have told me things, and I'm like, wow, this is great. This is what I wanted to see happen, but I didn't know it would happen like it has when I brought these groups together.
Yeah, well, you know me from old. I have this phrase about, you know, if you can join all the dots between all the disparate parts of the process, then magic will happen, you know, and that's what happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. And and I know you've heard me say this 100 times over. This is all about learning and prospering and growing all together, right? That's how we set up our very first unique little Zoom collaborative, right? Was on those 3 words: learn, prosper, and grow, right?
Sure was. Sure was.
And look what's happened since. Unbelievable connections and unbelievable leverage and amazing people that we've met along the way.
Yes, I've seen people grow from this connections we've had. And to be honest, the first time you and I had our first Zoom call where it was you and I together, I was actually in the same spot, turned in a different angle, but it was a completely different Zoom call. It was a completely different video call when we did that first call. So the way we've progressed since then, it's been amazing.
Oh yeah, it's so, you know, if people are watching this, if you're not sure about your own growth, then go back and look at some of your old content, even if it's written. If you have some old videos, go back and watch yourself. Just go see how much that you've gotten into the flow, as Thane says, and it's very incremental. It's tiny little pieces, day after day after day, and that's where that consistency comes from. So if people aren't sure, like Thane said, start somewhere. Even if you don't write the book, at least write the book in your head, one letter at a time, one word at a time, and it will be amazing what you can do in terms of self-development and self-growth.
Well, and so often, Bruce, when people want to start something, they say they don't know how. And here's the thing: until anyone starts anything, they don't know how. I didn't. Yeah, until you got me into Zoom, I didn't know how to do it until I started really playing around with it. Now I do all kinds of Zoom calls. I mean, did one the other day with hundreds of people on it. So start learning as you go. Don't worry about the mistakes you're going to make. Embrace them and learn from them. Embrace the journey. Embrace the experience. Because again, if I hadn't have done it, I would have lost a lot of opportunities that I've had. I wouldn't be on the radio show that I do. I wouldn't be reaching out, helping all the people that I help all over the world. So it's been amazing, just because I was willing to say, okay, if I fail, I fail, but I tried.
Right. But the other thing I have found is I've met a couple of quirky people through LinkedIn, but most of the people on LinkedIn will not let you crash and burn too much. People talk about LinkedIn family. It is an extended family, and they treat you and they look after you like a family. So if you're being a goofy or doing wrong stuff, people will tell you. They'll actually go out of their way and spend their own time helping you to help yourself. So
you got that right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for hopping in, and thanks for being. Do you have the picture still there? I prefer the picture, actually.
What?
The magazine.
Oh, I did too. I did too. So my wife might wonder what I've been doing with this, but.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, Bruce. I really appreciate it.
Well, give a shout out to your wife, because she has a thriving local, interesting business up there where you live, right? So give her a shout.
She does. Yeah. They're doing great. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. And
you can ask questions after. If you see this as a replay, you can ask questions or make comments, or if you're shy, just reach out to Thane or I, or both individually. No problem. There's no bad question. So
nope, and I'm approachable.
Yes, you are. All right, hang on, Thane.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. Good night and good morning in